We got done boiling the wort down. We added our hops to it. So what we got to do now is we have to cool the solution down as fast as possible, because now it has to be totally sanitary and sanitized. So what I do is I pump the wort down to the spout I have here on the back. If you want to come check it out. Can you see that? This side. Brewery. Comes down this from here. It goes down through this machine right here. It looks kind of ghetto. I know it's leaking. Not my problem. But it's on this machine right here. It's called a counterflow wort chiller. And what this does is it flows in cold water one direction and the hot wort or beer through the other way, the other direction. And this little pump that I have that makes the whole thing, run. I have 3 of these in the whole system. And so the beer goes in, comes up and out, up through this line here, back up on top, and recirculates through the whole entire process. So, I have a thermometer that gauges how cold it's getting and how fast I can get it. It's totally sealed and contained. I don't want any kind of microorganisms or wild yeast or bacteria getting in the solution. I want it totally sterile for the fermentation process. But essentially, this will chill it down to 70 degrees in about 20 minutes. And the whole entire reason I do recirculation method is because I want to oxygenate the wort. What happens is when you boil a solution, you deplete the oxygen inside of it. And yeast needs oxygen to feed on. It feeds on the sugar, of course. That's the whole entire reason, the process, is to get your sugars from the starch, which is barley, and that's what yeast feeds on. So if you kill the oxygen, the yeast can't survive and live. So it's the whole entire reason I want to add oxygen back into it. There's other methods of doing it. You can add a aeration stone and have it artificially pumped into the solution. Or I do this method, it's totally sanitary. There's a cap on it. You circulate it over 20-30 minutes, and it should add sufficient enough oxygen to get the yeast to live and survive in a sterile environment. After this is all done, I have these fermenters over here. These have already been sterilized and sanitized. Commercial grade, iodine, surgical sanitization. These are 7-gallon fermenters, and 5 gallons will come in here. And what I'll do is, I'll put the finished beer, when it cools down, into these containers, and then I'll add yeast to it. What happens is the yeast is feeding on the sugar, of course. And there's 2 byproducts of yeast feeding on sugar. There's ethanol and CO2. You want the ethanol to stay in the solution. The CO2 gets released through these little capsules here called airlocks. And over the course of 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, it just bubbles and bloop, 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 bubbles away. And that's your CO2 leaving the solution. And by the time that's all done with, 7, 10 days, whatever, you will have beer. You will have an alcoholic liquid substance. That's what you're after. I'm going to do another video later on about how to actually carbonate the beer, because when it leaves this vessel right here, it's uncarbonated. Of course, beer has to be carbonated. That's probably a whole other class or lesson that I have to teach you. But other than that, that's a simple process of brewing and putting into a fermenters. And when it gets done here, I'll pitch my yeast. It's called pitching yeast. And I'll just add yeast, liquid yeast, and that's it. And let it ferment away. That's it.